Our featured player of the week is Brian Branch this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got a picture of him just about to lay the wood on Cole Beasley. But
It
yeah,
was at that
so
moment where Cole Beasley just didn't know he was going to be posterized.
he
It's
didn't even
just
know.
like, yeah, he didn't know what hit him. He thought he was going. He thought he had a friend.
Right.
Boom. Seconds later, but go ahead, Foster. I'm sorry.
So Brian Branch is a four-star recruit out of Georgia. I don't remember what city in Georgia, but he played 3 years at Alabama. He's
You went
5'11",
deep. You went deep with this research. You went. Go
Oh yeah,
ahead though.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
I,
oh yeah.
I see you. I see you.
We got down to it. We got down to the nitty gritty. But yeah, he
Okay.
played 3 years, 3 years at Alabama.
Okay.
He recorded 74 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions. Um,
Mm.
primarily his senior year, he played in the nickelback position, which is where I think that we will see him a lot in a Lions uniform. But I think that he'll also be at safety. It's just going to depend on what we got going on, and Tracy Walker. How we got to see how durable and how well he holds up. Um, but yeah, so he's gonna be playing that nickelback position. That's what he primarily played at in Alabama. We're gonna
Right.
get into the positives and negatives. I'm gonna start off with some of the negatives to begin with. He ran a 4.58, which isn't elite speed for a defensive back, and I think that is part of the reason why he fell a little bit in the draft and didn't go in the first round, and also is a reason why he's not your primary outside corner. You're not going to throw him on your number one receiver. You're going to throw him in the slot against a number three, or possibly line him up with maybe a tight end, running back, some of those secondary guys that are catching the ball. His
Jamie be done
vertical,
left him in another county, man.
yeah. Well, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Line for line, as far as they in a race, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so his vertical was 34, which is kind of also not super, not super elite as far as his vert. But he's definitely an athletic guy. I don't want to act like this guy is just slow as molasses out here. Um, he has the potential to have good range as far as ball hawking ability, but I think that sometimes he has to find that gear. He has to find that gear before he can explode on the ball. So those are just some of his negatives. Outside of that, sometimes his tackle. He's not a big guy, so sometimes if his technique on tackling isn't correct, if he's coming up too high, I feel like sometimes
Mhm.
he's a drag down tackler, which requires other teammates coming to take him down as well. So
Pause.
but we're not. Yeah, right. So we're not going to dwell too heavily on the negative. We're going to get into these positives. As far as his positive, he is an athletic. He is also an athletics member of the secondary. He has good quickness, which he uses to in the run stopping department, and also in the intermediate route. In the intermediate routes, he's got
Okay.
uh, he's got a good nose for the ball, and he makes plays. We saw that from how he got on Cole Beasley and made the big hit. Like I said, he had 2 forced fumbles last year, and he had 2 interceptions. So he's a guy that's always going to be around the ball because he's just got a good nose for being in the area when it's time to make a play. Um, Outside of that, he's versatile. Like I said, he's gonna be playing nickelback. He's gonna play the nickelback position. I think he's also gonna be at safety as well, and he can blitz. He had 3 sacks last year, which I think he was able to use his athleticism in order to do that. You don't necessarily see defensive backs, nickelbacks recording a whole bunch of sacks, but he was able to record 3 of those. So um, as far as usage for the Lions, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but probably mostly in the nickel formation. 60% of the time we utilize that formation, so it's something that we go to often. And a lot of that is because in this day and age, they're spreading out offenses with 3 and 4 receivers. So you're going to need those extra defensive backs out there to cover those slot receivers. So I think that he's going to see the field a lot. He's going to be essentially playing behind C.J. Gardner-Johnson, which is one of the, if there was a better, there aren't too many better examples for how to operate as a nickel back. And like I said, Tracy Walker, we're gonna see. I think that Kirby Joseph is a definite as far as his starting position, and Tracy Walker is coming back off injury, so there's opportunity for him to see the field if he's out there making plays, because that is essential in on the defensive side.
Okay. So I have a story to tell you, and it's kind of like a confession when it comes to Brian Branch, man. So
Okay.
hate to admit it, and we're a new show, and I shouldn't be saying this, but I pray that Clever's not watching. I prayed. Clever told me that Brian Branch would be a good pick. This is before the draft.
Okay.
And he was like, we can get Brian Branch, And I said, no, I don't think you draft a nickel in the first round. First round, you need a corner. You're not drafting a nickel in the first round. No, I don't
Right.
want him unless they're going to have him play safety. That's something different. I said, but I think we're good at safety. I don't think it's, and he said, man, no, man, he's a good player, man. He'll be a good nickel. And I'm like, no. So with that being said, I hate my life, but Clever was right. I
I mean,
hope he
you
doesn't.
weren't wrong saying that we were quote unquote good at safety. We were our secondary going into the draft was pretty stout as is. So I'm not completely mad at your premise as far as saying that.
But in my defense, we got him in the second round.
He
So
didn't go the
Clever,
first round, right?
hey, you can do it in the second round. You can get
Yeah.
you can get him in the second. But
We traded up.
I
We
just
traded
want
up to get him earlier to get up, to go get him earlier. But yeah, he went in the second round.
I just wasn't a fan of getting a nickel, but I'm very happy with the pick. Like after when they got him in the second round, I was happy about the pick when it happened. So there's our featured player of the week, Brian Branch. A little bit of a lion roar for that man. Yeah. So, Foster, do we get a rant from you today?